You come a little forward. Maharaj,
when will you read from the Gospel?
give me now the English one.
Who will read the Japanese one?
Japanese?
Huh?
You.
Or me?
Leo, can you give me to read the English?
To whom?
The person.
Certainly. Can you? Do you want him to read?
Yes.
Before the talk begins, we will do some reading from the book. Okay.
Who will read this page?
Yes. That article? Not now, after the chanting.
Okay.
And then, Nihongo, あなたできますか? 日本語これ。翻訳を後で見せます。始めますか? OK ですか? マントラファイル見てくださいね。The first one, the second one, then the second page, last but one and the last.
So 3ページと5ページですね。
Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sahana Bhavato Sahano Bhunakto Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvi Nabadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shamino Mitraha Shambarunaha Shamino Bhavatvaryama Shamina Indro Brihaspatihi Shamina Vishnu Rurukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Ritang Vadishyami Satyang Vadishyami Tanmam Abhatu Tad Bhaktaram Abhatu Abhatu Mam Abhatu Bhaktaram Shanti 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 Hari Om Madhuvata Ritayate Madhuksharti Sindhabaha Madherna Santoshadehe Madho Nakata Muto Sasi Madhumat Parthivagam Rajaha Madho Daurastuna Pita Madhuvanno Banaspati Madhumagyam Astu Surya Madhirgavo Bhavantu Naha Ongamadhu 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 Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Okay, now please, can you please just open your mask? This is from the name of the book. Please write.
Eternal Stories,
Hmm.
Dawn of Wisdom. At the time of the Buddha, a story is told about a young woman named Kisa Gotami, who experienced a series of tragedies. First, her husband and another close family member died. All that remained for her was her only son. Then he was stricken with illness and died as well. Wailing in grief, she carried the body of a dead child, everywhere asking for help, for medicine to bring him back to life. But of course, no one could help her. Finally, someone directed her to Buddha, who was teaching in a nearby forest grove. She approached the Buddha, crying with grief, and said, "Great teacher, Master, please bring my boy back to life." The Buddha replied, "I will do so, but first you must do something for me, Kisa Gotami. You must go into the village and get me handful of mustard seed. And from this, I will fashion a medicine for your child. There's one more thing, however," the Buddha said. "The mustard seed must come from a home where no one has died, where no one has lost a child, or a parent, a spouse, or a friend." Kisa Gotami ran into the village and ran into the first house begging for mustard seed. "Please, please, may I have some?" And the people, seeing her grief, responded immediately. But then she asked, "Has anyone in this home died? Has a mother or a daughter, father or son?" They answered, "Yes, we had a death last year." So Kisa Gotami ran away and ran to the next house. Again they offered her mustard seed, and again she asked, "Has anyone here died?" This time it was the maiden aunt, and the next house it was a young daughter who has died. So it went house after house in this village. And there was no household she could not find which had not known death. Finally, Kisa Gotami sat down in a sorrow and realized that what had happened to her and to her child happens to everyone, and that all who are born will also die. She carried the body of her dead son back to Buddha. There he was, buried with all proper rites. Then she bowed to the Buddha and asked him for the teachings that would bring her wisdom and refuge in this realm of birth and death. And she herself took these teachings deeply to the heart and became a great yogi and a wise woman.
ちょっとちゃんと外しませんか、カバー、マイクの方。こっちこっち。彼女。
永遠の掟。
ちょっと外して。
永遠の掟。カンボジアの難民キャンプで。
違う。これちゃんと別に。すいません。
知恵の目覚め。ブッダがおられた時代の話です。キサゴタミーという名前の若い女性が相次ぐ不幸に見舞われました。まず夫が、次に仲の良かった家族が亡くなり、彼女と一人息子だけが残されました。 ほどなくして息子が病にかかり亡くなってしまいました。キサゴータミーは悲嘆に暮れて我が子の亡骸を抱きながら生き返らせてくれるよう助けを求め薬を乞いましたが、当然のことながら彼女を助けられる者は一人もいませんでした。ついに誰かが彼女を近くの森で説法をしておられたブッダのもとに連れて行きました。キサーゴミーターゴータミーはブッダのもとに行き、悲しみに打ちひしがれた様子で、偉大な死よ、どうか我が子を生き返らせてくださいと訴えました。ブッダは、キサーゴータミーよ、願いを叶えてあげよう。だがその前に一つ頼みがある。村に行ってからしの種、インドで一番よく使われる香辛料を一つかみもらってきておくれ。私はそれで息子さんを生き返らせる薬を作ることができるとお答えになり、さらにただし一つ条件がある。からしの種は一人の死人も出したことのない家でもらってきたものでないといけない。子供や両親や友人の連れ合いなどをなくしたことのない家だとおっしゃいました。
次のページ。
キサーゴータミーは村に走って行き、一軒目の家に飛び込み、からしの種を乞いました。どうか少し分けていただけませんか。彼女の悲しみに打ちひしがれた様子を見た家の人々はすぐにからしの種を持ってきました。しかし彼女がこの家でどなたか亡くなった人はいますか。お母さんや娘さんやお父さんや息子さんたちが。と尋ねると、はい、つい1年前不幸がありましたと言われました。キサーゴータミーは立ち去り、隣の林家に駆け込みました。そこの家の人もからしの種を出してきてくれましたが、どなたか亡くなりましたかと彼女が尋ねると、独身だったおばが亡くなったと答えました。その林家では幼い娘が亡くなっていました。キサーゴータミーは村中の家から家を訪ね歩きましたが、死に見舞われたことのない家を見つけることはできませんでした。ついにキサーゴータミーは悲しみに暮れ座り込みました。そして我が身と我が子に起きたことは誰にでも起こり得るということ、生まれた者はいつか死ぬということを悟りました。彼女は我が子の亡骸を抱いてブッダのもとに戻りました。亡骸はしかるべき弔いをして葬られました。それから彼女はブッダの前にひれ伏して死と生と死の世界を悟り、安らぎを得るための教えを請いました。彼女はブッダの教えを深く胸に刻み込み、偉大なヨギ、聡明な女性になりました。
さん、ベルトから時計持ってください。So welcome you all to our monthly retreat at this Vedanta Society of Japan.
皆様ようこそ、今月の、日本ベダンタ協会の例会へ。
So we are resuming it after almost 2 years and maybe 2-3 months.
Oh, so much.
Yes, I mean the forenoon session. Afternoon session we did, but our usual practice starts from the morning. So this we are resuming from I should say April 2020, 20 March. After that we discontinued because of that pandemic. So now we are resuming it. I mean both session, morning session and afternoon session.
まあコロナが流行り始めてから、この朝と午後の例会を中止して午後のみで行われましたけれども、本日は2年3ヶ月ぶりに朝の例会も行います。
So, what we have been discussing is a very famous hymn composed by Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya, the great teacher of Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, Hinigenranteki Vedanta, and also a great saint and philosopher.
まあ、これは前行っていた、バジャゴビンダンの話の続きになります。バジャゴビンダンはアディシャンカラチャリアという、非二元論的な、哲学者、そして偉大な聖者、に作成されたとても有名な、賛歌です。
Interestingly, we told already before that though he was a great Vedantist and believed in non-dualism, but at the same time he was a great devotee also. So though he believed in monism or non-dualism, but at the same time he composed many beautiful hymns in praise of various gods and goddesses. So that means his message was that right from the beginning many people are not qualified to practice non-dualism, so they should start with dualism. So that's why he composed this type of hymns so that it would help those practitioners who believe in God with forms. So this Bhajagovindam is one of his famous compositions.
アディシャンカラチャリアは、熱心な、ベダンティスト、非人間論的な、信奉者であったものの同時に、偉大な信者でもありました。そのため彼は、哲学の作物以外は、非常に美しい賛歌を作りました。この賛歌はさまざまな神様や女神たちを、礼拝、そして尊敬している、賛歌ですね。そして彼は、これが分かりました。皆さんは最初から非人間論的な哲学を学ぶことは難しいため、最初は、二元論的、つまり形のある神様を信じてから形のない神様への信仰へ進むべき。そのためこのような賛歌を作りました。
So this hymn has many stanzas and many are oft quoted, and the first verse runs like that: Bhajo Govindam, Govindam Bhaja, Mudhamate, Samprapte Sannihite Kale, Nahi Rakshati, Dukring Karone. It means, oh foolish person, oh fool. Fool not in the sense that who had not any formal education. Fool in the sense, from the point of spirituality, you see, one is called a fool because of his spiritual illiteracy. There are different types of illiteracy. One is spiritual illiteracy. So he says, Mudha, Mati. That means, oh foolish person, worship God, worship Govinda, worship Govinda, worship Govinda. Rules of grammar will not save you at the time of your death. That means you may be a scholar, you may be even a scholar of scriptures, but just by becoming a scholar of scripture, by knowing the scriptures intellectually, will not save you at the time of your death. Means you will not become free from fear of death, pangs of death. So, how we can become free from the fear of death? Then he recommends that you should worship Govinda, whose real nature is existence, knowledge, and bliss absolute.
この参加の中にはさまざまな説がございます。そして、いろいろ引用されるんですけれども、第一説は、マハラジがサンスクリット語で、唱えたんですが、バジャゴビンダ、つまり、ゴビンダ、神様を礼拝しなさい。お愚かな者よ。この愚かさは、無学とか知識がない人、普通の知識がない人というではなくて、スピリチュアリティ、霊的な生活に関する、無学とか音痴さと言ってもいいでしょう。その次の行は、文法の、規則とか知識がお前を死の手から救ってあげないので、どうぞ、神様を礼拝しなさい。神様を礼拝すると、この死の恐怖がなくなります。神様の本性は、サチッタナンダ、実在、そして知識、そして幸福ですから、神様を礼拝しなさい。
So, this is our fifth part of the discourse on Bhaja Govindam. We cannot continue it every month because we have other ceremonies and programs. So, last time we maybe held the discourse on Bhaja Govindam in April, and then May it was not there, and then June we are resuming it. Because May was Buddha's birthday ceremony. And though we usually hold this satsang on the third Sunday of every month, but because there's a big program of Swami Vivekananda's public celebration, so we shifted it to this fourth Saturday, Sunday for this month only. Then again we'll resume it on every third Sunday.
本日の、話は同じテーマの第5話になります。前回は今年の4月に、第4話を行いました。そしてこちらの例会は、普段より、毎月の第3日曜日行いますが、今月サミビベカナダの、生誕祭が行われたため、例外として、 第4の日曜日に行っております。
So this Bhajagovindam hymn is like a spiritual hammer.
このバジャゴビンダという参加は、霊的な、土、ハンマーのようなものです。
Because when you sleep very deeply, first, if one wants to awaken you, what will you do? He will call your name. Leo, Leo, get up, get up, get up. But no movement. So
Like a dead body.
eyes are still closed, deep sleep. Then slowly he will be calling your name louder and louder, but no result. Then what next he will do? What? Sugi wa saisho yamimasu desu ne. Yannu. Oki, saisho chisai koe de. それが大きな声で結果ではないですから。So what next? Push, little push, shake. Then no result. Then what will you do? Maybe you will bring a stick and hit you. Then you open your eyes. So that's why I'm telling, I'm comparing it with the spiritual hammer. You read it again and again, listen it again and again, but no awakening, spiritual awakening is there. You do not come to your senses. So then it is using such a strong word, very strong worded. This, it's not something very smooth, something very pleasant, but耳にくいですね。耳痛い。耳痛い、心痛い。So very painful, but as a real friend, as a real well-wisher, he purposely uses this type of very strong words, as Sri Ramakrishna also used to do. Otherwise, you will not be brought back to your senses. By using sweet words, 甘い言葉を使って結果何も出ない。リオ、聞いてください。結果出ません。So, this teacher as a real friend, real wisher, well wisher, he is using purposely this type very, very strong words and expressions so that you come back to your sense. You are now sleeping. It's a deep spiritual slumber. You don't want to get up from the spiritual slumber. So Shankaracharya's intention is this. So when you read it, sometimes you may feel very, I should say, painful. You'll feel your aching, heart is painful, or sometimes you didn't continue to read. Half of the way you just give it up. No, I cannot digest this type of hard words. So I use that hammer. So there are people who may just maybe one or two stanzas and then will give up. No, this is not for me. But those who really want to be awakened spiritually, they will read it. Even if it is very hard to listen to and very hard, still harder to accept it, but still they know that this is really, this thing will really bring peace to me, joy to me, fearlessness to me.
そして霊的な土って言いましたが、例えば深く眠っている人を優しい声で起きなさい起きなさいと言っても なかなか
起きて、
起きません。そのまま爆睡し続けてしまいます。でも、もうちょっと大きな声で読んでも、もう起きなさい。
いつも子供たちが寝てますでしょ。学校に行かないといけない。お母さんどうしますか。それじゃないんですか、お母さんのやり方。最初小さい、それで後でとても怒って。
で、で怒って体を揺るがして、それでもダメでしたら、ちっちゃい棒とか持ってパンパン叩く。そうすると
これがバイオレンスではないでしょう。暴力ではないですね。その子違うです、目的はあなたに起きて学校に行かないといけないです。それが目的で言ってもいいでしょう。
で、私たちも同じようにこの幻の世界の深い夢に入っているので、なかなか起きたくない。で、何回も何回もこういう話へ来ても目覚めたくない。だからシャンカラチャリアがとても厳しい
硬い
荒い言葉を使って私たちを目覚めさせるための、こう使っています。その意味で私たちの本当の友人です。私たちの霊的な友達です。シリーラマクリスナも同じように荒い言葉を使って人を目覚めさせるための使ってましたね。ある人はこれを読んだらもう嫌になっちゃって、一節も二節も終わらないうちに本を閉めてもうやめます。けど本当の霊的な目覚めが欲しい人がこれを読んで痛くてもなんとか消化して、霊的に見覚めて、本当の、平和幸福と、無恐怖の状態を得るために頑張って読みます。
So the last verse, what we discussed, just let us once more refer to it. Balastava, just compare the condition of the usual common persons. Then you will understand how true the observation of Shankaracharya is, how truly he discriminates. Balastavat krila saktaha tarunastavat taruni saktaha vriddhastavat chinta magnaha parame brahmani kopina laganaha. The meaning is, childhood is lost in play, asabi. Then youth is lost by attachment to woman, or opposite, or woman to man. Then old age passes away by thinking over many past things. Alas, hardly is there anyone who yearns to be lost in Parabrahman.
先ほどの、説の意味が、子供の期間は、遊びで、無駄になってしまう。
勉強してますけれども、ほとんどは気持ちがいつも遊びたいですね。で、お母さん怒りますから勉強しないといけないですから、そしてですけれども、本当は気持ちのことを考えれば遊びが好き、一番。
そして、
今、何？ゲームス。コンピューターゲームス。ですね。You have not to go to a field. It is already there in your room. Computer.
そして少年、つまり若い大人のその期間が異性の執着で無駄になってしまう。そして、老年は昔のことを考えて、そこに けてしまうことによって無駄になってしまう。
和解のこと言ってますか？
Yes, man.
Okay.
You say, the woman like opposite sex. でも、パラブラフマン、最高の神様のことを理解して悟ることに努力する人はなんと少ないでしょ
う。Of course, people are also busy with their work. これは仕事ものためにね、とても忙しい。very busy. So, result is the same. That they have no time to think about God. So that is what Shankaracharya means. So either for this reason, for that reason, or all are secular, reasons are secular, no one has time to think about the spiritual truth.
そしてこのように皆様が何らかの理由で、世俗的な理由で神様を考える暇、そして気持ちがなかなか浮かんでこないですね。
Now, what is your answer? This is Shankaracharya's observation. Kansatsu. 皆さん、どうですか？ Spiritual discourse, how many? Mostly, how many young boys and girls will see? 子供ともちろん、you cannot expect the children. But how many young boys and girls? Those who study in school, college or university or just join the service, many are young people. How many are there? Then again, how many those who are going to office goers, salarymen, how many you see? And some discourses are there not on weekdays, it's on Sundays and Saturdays. So how many are interested? Exceptions are there. We are not talking of, Shankaracharya is not talking of the exceptions. He says this is the common picture. That most of the people have no time, no interest. Actually, the reason is no interest. Not time is the factor. They have no interest. So children, they have interest in play. When they are young, they have interest in the opposite sex. When they are little more, then they are more interested in work. And then they find time to work also. But because they have no interest in the spirituality, so they say, no time to do meditation. So basic reason has no interest. Shankaracharya actually means that in this verse.
そして、周りよく見ますと、こういうような霊的な話とか霊的なことを考える実践する人は、なんと少ないですね。例えば大学生とか新入社員、そして若者がなかなかこういう、ところに来ない、こういうような話に興味がありません。サラリーマン同じことでしょう。他のことをするための、時間がいっぱい作ってるんですけれども、例えば仕事をするなど、でも霊的な話を聞いて実践するための時間がないと訴えますが、時間がないというよりも興味がないということが事実です。例外がありますが、ほとんど皆さんそうです。そのためシャンカラチャレは先ほど皆さんが世俗的なことにふけてしまって神様のことを考えない。
It's not that they are always busy in work, they have also time for secular enjoyment, 快楽。そのために時間も見つけてます。They find time for sense, pleasure of senses. So that is there, but they have no time for doing meditation or doing japa or prayer or visiting a holy place, listening to a discourse, spiritual discourse, because they have no interest in that.
興味がないから、 世俗的な楽しみとか快楽にいっぱい、時間とエネルギーを費やしますが、瞑想したり、祈りをしたり、あと、巡礼したりするための、暇がないです。
Then today's verse is number 8. This is also like a spiritual hammer. Kate kanta kaste putraha sangsaro ayam atiba vichitraha kasyatvam va kuta ayataha tattanga chintaya tadiha vrataha. The meaning is, who is your wife? Who is your son? Strange is this samsara. Of whom are you? Where have you come from? Brother, ponder over these truths. Or sister, ponder over these truths.
第8節は、このような意味です。お兄弟あるいは姉妹よ、あなたの妻は誰ですか？あなたの息子あるいは娘は誰なんですか？この、輪廻の世界は本当に不思議です。よく考えなさい。あなたは誰のものなのでしょうか
？Apparently, these questions are very strange. Why? Suppose you ask someone, some person, male person, who is your wife? So, or who is your husband? So, what will you answer? Rika-san, if someone asks you, who is your husband? What will you reply? Now just think, if someone asks this question, it's quite common, no? But quite natural. Someone will ask, who is your husband? What will you reply? Huh? Huh? Is? Chris. Okay, tell the full name. Okay. Then, if your husband is asked, who is your wife? What your husband will answer? So, you or he will not surely say, okay, some angel or is my wife or husband, not surely like that. Then, strange is this samsara. This samsara, the world is strange. Then I think it is not difficult for you to accept it. The world is really strange. Why it is strange? Because so many strange things we see in this world, isn't it? Huh? So this statement is true in one sense. For example, there are 7 wonders in this world. 7 wonders. For example, Chinese wall, then Taj Mahal. So these are so many strange things are there. Then some people have, you see, 5 fingers. Generally, we have 5 fingers. Someone has maybe 6 fingers. There are some with strange physical features. Then so many strange things are happening. In the newspaper, if you open it, you will see so many strange things are taking place. Guinness World Book of Record. So many strange things are recorded. So one person sleeping, there is a competition. in which one brahmachari joined. What is that competition? How long one can sleep, for how many days continuously. So, of course, when that did not become a brahmachari, that time he joined that competition, took part in that competition, and then he became second. Why? Because he slept for 5 days. 5 days continuously. But for some reason he felt felt appetite like that, so he wanted to take some food. Then another person still continued, he slept for 6 days, so he won. So this is very strange, isn't it? To sleep continuously for 4 days or 5 days. It's not something strange? So many strange things are happening around you. If you open the newspaper, you will see. So this is in one sense true, Shankaracharya had said. But in what sense he says strange, that we'll discuss later. Our understanding of something strange and Shankaracharya's understanding of something strange is totally different.
先ほどの質問、に対して例えばあなたの、妻は誰ですか、あなたの旦那さんは誰ですかで聞かれると、普通に人が私の妻はこの人です、旦那さんはこの人です。
それから、boy, I forgot. お母さん、もしあなた別のお客さんあなた尋ねます。これ、あなたの息子はどなたですかね、これありますね。これ、サンスクリットのバースの中にありますでしょ。カステプトラ、Who is your son? So, あなた、何を答えます？ブランマン。私の息子はブランマンです。何を答えますか？そんなにフィロソフィカルアンサーですね。
お母さんです。
あれはフィロソフィカルの普通の答え聞きたいです。普通の答えは何ですか？あなたそのように話しますとお客様とっても頭ぐるぐるになります。何でしょうか？これ私根性、いろいろでどうして根性のことか。全然の頭、あなたの頭がいいかな、多分お客さんあなたに尋ねます。質問はあなたの息子の名前何ですか？ OK、終わり。それは普通ではないですか？普通で。Who is your daughter? のりこ。娘はのりこ。そうでしょ？ OK、but Shankaracharya 目的 reason of asking this question is different. Okay, now we continue. So I just wanted to add, which I forgot.
そして、その次に、この世は誠に不思議なところですと言ってます。それは私たちが理解しやすい事実でしょう。西洋とかではよくなんか世界の7つの不思議な建物とかというあるんですよね。
ピラミッド
とか中国の万里長とかタッチマハルとか、最近更新されてるんですけど、一番高い建物とかそういうあるんですね。あと指が普通は皆さん5つ持ってるんですけれども、6つとかあったりする人、あと体の形も変わったりする。
私は見たことあります。これが2つです。これでもう指、
yes、もう一つが出て、
タム。It is two thumbs。
そう、親指が2つ。ニュースとか見たら毎日のように不思議なことが起こってる か、あとギネスの世界、記録という本があるんですね。例えばマハラジがこの、試合とか試合って言ってもいいかな、誰が一番長く寝れるっていうあったんですね。でその時に参加してた、はまだブラマチャリになってなかった人なんですけど、その後ブラマチャリになりました。で彼は、連続5日間寝れたんですねけどお腹が空いて耐えられなくてベッドから起きましたので、
負けました。
2番になりました。1番は6日間ぐらいずっと寝てました。
Can you believe? So this type of competition, how long one can sleep? これはとてもおかしいではないですか、そろそろcompetition. Strange, very strange ですね。So I just give you an example. So many strange things are happening around us.
でもシャンカラチャリアが言う不思議さと私たちが考える不思議さがちょっと違います。でこれからそれについて説明します。
Then, Kasyatan, to whom do you believe? To whom you belong? Kasyatam, ba, and again, kuto ayata, from where you came. Then, this last line actually reveals the purpose of asking these questions. The last line reveals. What is that? Tattanga chintaya. Ponder about the truth, the highest truth. Bhrata, my brother. So as I told you, he is like a real brother, real sister, real father, real mother, real well-wisher. Shankaracharya wants to awaken us spiritually. So he says, addresses. So Bhrata is not like just brother, but sister also. So he says, oh dear, think the truth behind. Don't see only the surface. Go into the depth of it. Think deeply. Discriminate. Then you will understand the purpose of my question. For example, who is your husband? Who is your wife? Who is your son? Who is your daughter? This world is strange, and to whom you belong, from where you came. So all these things you'll get some apparent answers, but there are some deep answers, real answers are there. So he wanted to draw our attention to that deeper answer of these questions, to the deeper reality of the thing, of the apparent things.
そしてその次に、あなたは誰のものですか？そしてあなたはどこから来ましたか？と尋ねました。その最後に、あなたはこれらのことについて、タットはという意味も、最高の真理についても深く考えておきなさい。そのことからこの質問の意図がわかります。その意味で、そうですね、シャンカラチャリアが私たちを霊的に目覚めさせるための声をかけてくださいます。その説の中にも兄弟よと使ってます。兄弟だけではなくて、姉妹とか親しいもの、親愛なるものとして 声を呼びかけております。要するに私たちが、should I explain you are saying why is he asking these questions, where do you came from? But the implication is that you don't belong to anybody, and
So that will I shall explain.
then fine.
So that's of course. Now, all these questions has an apparent answer and the real answer. So there's apparent answer, for example, who is your wife? So apparent answer is this Nantoka-san, somebody is my wife or somebody is my husband. Then again, who is your wife, who is your son or who is your daughter? There is an apparent answer, the Nantoka-san. This person is my son, that person is my daughter. But there is a real answer, actual answer of it. Then again, as I told, that he says that the world is very strange. So apparent answer and the real answer, philosophical answer. And then again, to whom you belong, apparent answer and the real answer. Then from where you came, also apparent answer and real answer. Okay?
Because the conclusion must come.
Okay, after that, so just translate this, apparent answer and real answer of this.
そしてこういうような質問に対する答えは表面的な答えと、深い答えがあります。表面的な答えは、私の妻、旦那さん、息子、娘さんはこういう人です。名前を言って、こういう人ですよ。が、もっと深い答えがあります。
So, for example, there is actual answer, but who is your wife, who is your son, or who is your husband, who is your daughter? What Shankaracharya means is that actually, though you think that he is my son or she is my daughter, he is my husband or she is my wife, but no one, eternally speaking, and we get attached to our wife or husband or daughter or son, thinking that they belong to us and we belong to them. But Shankaracharya says, if you discriminate deeply, then you will find you do not belong to them, not they belong to you. So, though apparently someone is your son or someone is your daughter, someone is your husband, someone is your wife, but this is just for a very temporary period, that someone is your husband or a wife or your son or daughter. And neither they belong to you, nor you belong to them.
深い答えは、私の奥さん、旦那さん、息子、などは、永遠の時間で考えると、私たちは誰のものの、に属していない。私たち、で他の人も私たちのものでもないです。執着しているからこの私の感覚が強くなっているんですが、本当言えば私は誰にも属していない。そして他の人に対してそういう私の感覚がそういう 関係性がないということです。
その人たち私のものではない、私もその人たちのものではない。So our karma brought us together in this life. So our karma means our sons, wives, daughters, husbands, karma brought us together in this life, and we have become our, like that, husband and wife, son and daughters. But previous life it was different, the next life it will be different. So for this life only, as if someone is our wife, someone is our husband, someone is our son, someone is our daughter, but we think this will continue eternally, and then we get attached to them, and all these attachments become the source of sufferings.
要するに私たちが今一緒になっているのが、お互いのカルマが原因となっております。前世では私たちは別の、配偶者や息子娘さんなどを持っていました。で、来世も違う組み合わせで一緒になる可能性があります。しかし今は執着しているので、私のという感覚が強くなって結局、それが、苦しみ悲しみをもたらすことになります。
Just for your image, just think. You have taken a flight, long flight, from India to South America. India to South America. So the plane, and then it will go via Japan. So the plane will first fly from New Delhi to Japan, then from Japan to, say, San Francisco, then from San Francisco to Brazil. So airways sometimes fly in that way. So when you take the plane, then around you almost they are all Indians. Then when you get down at Japan, get down now, you continue your flight. The plane will stop at Narita. So most of the Indians, they, you see, they depart. And then new passengers will come. They are all Japanese. Then when you go to USA, most of the Japanese, they will maybe they depart. Then other passengers will come. So in that way, during this long flight, your co-passenger who is sitting by your side, so you become, because long time you have to pass. So how long you can sleep? So naturally there's a tendency that you talk to your the person who is just sitting by your side, and then you become intimate, you exchange your address, and then you promise, yes, we shall continue to exchange our mails. Then again, that person gets down at Tokyo, and then again some Japanese who can speak in English, he comes up, and then same thing will happen. You become intimate, you exchange your addresses, email addresses, and promise. Then again, that Japanese also gets down when he is in the USA. So an American guy will come and sit by your side. Then you do the same thing. But what happens? You never exchange mails. So see this condition, this co-passenger, how changing in this one flight only. So one becomes your co-passenger, very close to you, then he departs. Another person becomes your co-passenger whom you never saw and you will never see again. And he becomes very, very intimate to you. So in that way, in the same flight, your co-passenger changes. In that long, see, if it takes lives, different lives, put together, if you take into consideration of series of lives, is it not the same thing? The person whom you called your wife or husband, son and daughter and friend in previous life, are the person same in this life also? Is the same person become your husband or wife or son or daughter? No. No guarantee at all. And this life, we are so close, so attached. Is there any guarantee that the next life they will become your husband or wife or son or daughter? Absolutely no. So Shankaracharya in that sense asks, why do you think that your relationship with your family or family members is something eternal and you get attached to it? That's why he puts this question. Otherwise, there is no meaning of asking this type of question, apparently. So this is the deeper purpose of his asking this type of questions. It has a deeper connotation, deeper meaning.
例えばインドから、南アメリカまで行く飛行機のことを考えましょう。インドから出発した時に、隣に座ってた人たちがほとんどみんなインド人でした。しかし東京で、その時にも皆さんと、電話番号のとかメールアドレスとか住所を交換して、絶対降りたらまたメールします、連絡しますよ、家も訪れますよ、訪問しますよ、また会いましょうよ。
みんな2人で多分十分です。2人でお庭の方に行きますから、お母さんどうぞやってください。みんな出ますと台所に誰でもいないですから、いなくなります。
で、次に成田に着きます。インド人はほとんどおります。次に日本人はたくさん乗ります。でまた隣座って英語を話せればいっぱい話します。アメリカまでサンフランシスコまで結構長いので8時間ぐらい以上かかるので、いろいろおしゃべりして仲良くなって、また連絡先を交換して、で降りたらまた必ず連絡しますよと約束して、サンフランシスコに到着するとまた人が変わります。今回、アメリカ人とか南米人が乗ります。でそういうふうにこの、それはだいたい1日間ぐらいかかるんですけれども、この割と短い間にたくさんの人を見て仲良くなって、でもすぐに降りてバイバイして、おそらく二度と会わない、二度と話さない連絡しない人になります。そして私たちが、何章前世を考えると同じことではないでしょうか。前世の奥さん、旦那さん、子供、そしてお友達が、根性同じでしょうか。そういう保証が何もないですね。で今の今の旦那さん、妻、子供との友達は、来世に同じになる保証が何もない。そのためシャンカラチャリアが聞いてます。あなたは誰のものなのでしょうか。全部変わってますので、それに気づきなさいという意味です。
Then he says, this world is strange. So in what sense? For example, I told, in a different sense he says. For example, Yudhishthir, you know that story. Yudhishthir was asked, what is the strangest thing in this world? Then Yudhishthir said, every moment people are dying. But those who are remaining, they think will live eternally, will not die. So those who die, they die every day. But we will not die.
そして、このためこの世が不思議だと、シャンカラチャリアが、言っています。マハバラタ、の叙事詩にはこういう出来事がありました。ユディシティラ、パンダワ兄弟の一番上の兄弟ですけれども、ダルマに聞かれて、この世の中に一番不思議なことは何でしょうか。で、彼が答えました。毎日周りにたくさんの人が亡くなっていますが、残っている人が私は死なないという思い強いを持っている。私は死なないということを。
死ぬ人は毎日死んでます。
はい、
我々は死にません。死ぬ人は毎日死んでますから、私は死なない。So, today, this morning we read from the Kisa Gautami story. So, Buddha asked bring some sesame seeds from that house where death never entered. So, Kisa Gautami had gone door to door. So, he read a beautiful poem written in Bengali on this theme. So, he knew about this Kisa Gautami story long before when he was school children. That time he knew this story. Very. それから just bring some sesame seeds from such a home where death never entered. So she went door to door, but she found out that there is no house where no one never died. So then she understood the reality. In fact, we are just after birth, we are moving inch by inch to death. So I wonder why people celebrate the birthday. Actually, he's moving more and more, proceeding more and more to death. So this is something that's why it's strange. Shankaracharya said, the world is strange in this sense. What is there to celebrate? That we are 1 year ahead to death. It should be a mourning day. Kanashi no hi. But we are celebrating by going to a restaurant and then inviting your friends, making a fun, completely forgetting that actually we have proceeded 1 year more to death. Is it not strange? Okay, so if we talk in that way, many people would say Swami has become, you see, his head is something wrong. Okay.
なのでそういうことがあるからこの世が不思議だと、シャンカラチャリアが言っています。私たちが、生まれた時から例えば死に向かっておりますが、お誕生日をお祝いする意味はどこにあるのでしょうか。どんどん死に近づいているから、その祝うよりも悲しむべきではないでしょうか。
So the happy birthday as a sad birthday. This type of putta, does anyone sing? Sad is the birthday.
maybe some Buddhists will say Sarvan Dukkham.
Happy birthday to you. Happy day. No one sings. But the reality is this. Very, very difficult to digest. Very difficult to imagine in this way.
なので先ほどのキサゴタミの物語も同じですね。彼女が人生の事実に気づいてなかった。 ので、まだ皆さん死ぬべきかということをちゃんと理解してなかったので、そういうふうになりましたが、いろんな家を訪ねて死ぬことのない人の家からからしの種をもらおうとしても、もう誰も、そのような家庭がいない。その時は初めて気づきました。みんな死にます。で、そういうふうにそれが理解した時に悲しみを乗り越えることができました。
So you see, about us, whatever image that I am body and mind, isn't it? It's very common. Our image of ourselves is that I am such a say with body weight, length, and the biodata. So generally, is that not like that? So image about ourselves that we are just have name and form, body and mind. But the truth is, no, I am really Atman, self. So, though the truth is this, I am not this body, I am Atman, but everyone thinks that no, I am body. So, is it not strange? In this sense, Shankaracharya says this world is very strange.
そして私たちの自分自身のイメージが、ほとんど私の体と心、いわゆるバイオデータ、私の体の身長、体重とか、名前とか年齢とか、形と名前に、ほとんどこだわっておりますが、本当はそれではない。私たちは、魂です。そのため、シャンカラチャラヤはこの世は不思議ですよと言っています。
So when Swami Vivekananda is preaching Vedanta in the West and teaching them, you are not body, you are not mind, you are Atman, then someone would ask from the audience and said, Swami, why you are trying to hypnotize us? That we are soul, we are body. Why you are trying to hypnotize us? Swamiji replies, Madam, I am not hypnotizing you. I am dehypnotizing you. You are hypnotized and you are thinking that you are body. But actually you are not body. So this is a strange, very strange way of, this idea itself sounds to be very strange to the persons who generally think that they are just body and mind.
スワミ・ビベカナンダ、西洋でアメリカでベダントしていた時に、いつも、あなたたちは、体ではない、心ではない、魂です。何回も繰り返してたんですけれども、アメリカ人にとってそれは結構新しい教えでしたので受け入れがたかったんです。でその、参加者の一人が立って言いました。スワミジー、私たちに、催眠術をかけていないでしょうか。私たちを催眠しようとしているのではないか。でスワミジーが、マダム夫人よ、私は催眠術をかけているのではない。すでに催眠されている状態なので、そこから目覚めさせようとしているだけですよ。
Then you see, we think we have so much sufferings. Almost every day, I get a call from someone or other. Oh, I am so much suffering. I have so many sufferings. I am so much suffering. So, I have to hear again and again. And this is quite common. People have many reasons of suffering, sadness, pain, fear. But the Atman is, or our real nature is really full of bliss, peace, fearless. We think we are bound. No? We have so many bondage of family, bondage of sanskar. But actually we are free. But though we are actually free, we are full of bliss and peace, even then we think ourselves we are bound, we are full of sufferings, we are full of so-called fear. So is it not something strange? That's why Shankaracharya says the world is strange.
そしてマハラジは毎日のように誰かから電話が苦しみの文句の電話が来ます。私はこういう理由で大変ですよ、こういうふうに苦しんでますよ。でそれはまあ普通です。皆さんは、何らかの理由で苦しんでいるんですが、その奥にある、アットマン、私たちの魂はそれではない。私たちが本当に平和、幸福、そして、恐れを知らない状態は、私たちの本性です。それに満たされております。私たちが、妄想のため束縛されていることを思い込んでしまっています。私は家族のへの執着や自分のサムスカラによって束縛されていることを勘違いしておりますが、それではない。私たちが本来は自由で、そして、幸福、平和に満たされています。だからシャンカラチャリアがこの世は本当に不思議ですと言っています。
Then again you see, there are only one entity is there, that is Brahman. But why do we see so many varieties? Names, forms, qualities, actions. So Shankaracharya, from the point of a philosopher, this is also very strange. Though actually Brahman exists, and without Brahman there is nothing. But we see so many manifold things, manifold. I mean, we see so many differences. So, from that point of view, so Shankaracharya thinks that it is really strange, the world is strange.
もう一つこの、は、不思議に思うことは、ブラフマン、つまり宇宙の根本原理は一つだけですが、いろんな名前形、があることに見えているんですね。さまざまな活動をしたり、さまざまな属性を持って現れていることを見ますが、それはすべてブラフマンの現れに過ぎないが、それに気づかない。それは不思議です。
Then the question is Kasyattam, to whom you belong? The apparent answer is yes, I belong to my parents. Or you may say, I am a salaryman, so I belong to the office. But the actual answer is, this is the apparent answer. Real answer is no. You actually belong to Brahman. You belong to God. This is the real answer.
その説の質問が、あなたは誰のものですかで、普通は答える、私は両親の息子ですとか、この会社の、社員ですとかが、
私は I belong to my husband, like that.
が親類縁者のものですよとかが、本当の答えは、私はブラフマンのものです。ブラフマンに属していますという答えるべきです。そういう答えを出さない、なかなか出さないから、この世は不思議です。と。
Now, it's not that we discussed already. There's another question is this. So he has another question, Asangsana Matha Vichitra, that is finished. Then he says, puts another question, Kasyatyam. The verse, continues like that. So I just were following the verse. So he said, Sangsaraya Mativa Vichitra, so we discussed. Then Kasyatyam, to whom he belonged, the next verse.
Yes, that's what I just explained.
But we should not connect it to that the world is strange, because that we discussed. So here the answer is this, that apparent answer is this, that I belong to husband or belong to parents, but actually we belong to God or Brahman. So that you discussed already. Then the next question is, from where you came? So where you came, this is also an apparent answer and the real answer. The apparent answer is, yes, I was born to my parents, so I came from that. My origin is my parents. But again, the real answer is no. Your actual origin is God, Brahman.
そしてどこから来ましたかっていう質問に対して、普通は私は、両親の息子娘ですが、本当の答えは私は神様から生まれました、神様から来ましたという。
So in Bhagavad Gita, there is a verse like that. Chapter 9, verse number 18. Gatir bharta prabhu sakshi nivasa sharanam surhit prabhava pralaya sthanam nidhanam bijamabhayam. Okay, Shanti, you read the translation? Gatir bharta. That means my destiny is Lord, my master is my Lord, one who nourishes me is Lord, one who witnesses all my activities is the Lord. Lord is my abode, Lord is my refuge, Lord is my friend. I am born from the Lord, and I'll be dissolved into the Lord, and He is my final goal. Okay. どうぞ。9章の18節。18節。
マイクない？全然聞こえません。
聞こえる？今聞こえた。失礼しました。はい。私はすべての最終目的であり、保護者であり、主であり、目撃者である。またすべての住処、避難所、友人でもある。さらに私はすべての起源であり、消滅であり、基礎であり、宝庫であり、そして不滅の種子でもある。終わり。
Okay. So now, why this happened? Then the one explanation is because of Maya. Mahamaya's power of delusion. Because of that, by the power of the delusion, by the power of deluding other people, Mahamaya, you see, we are deluded. So there is a song. So, Leo, so when such delusion veils the world through Mahamaya, I find out that. So the English is, when such delusion veils the world through Mahamaya's spell, that Brahma is bereft of sense and Vishnu loses consciousness, what hope is left for men? The narrow channel first is made, and that the trap is set, but open though the passage lies, the fish once safely through the gate do not come out again. The silkworm patiently prepares its closely spun cocoon, yet even though a whale leads forth, encased within its own cocoon, the worm remains to die.
どうしてこれが起こるのかというと、マヤの魔力、私たちを困惑させる力によって起きます。で、スリラマクリスナの福音書の中にこういう歌があります。マハマヤの魔力によってそのような迷いが世界を覆うと、 かのブラフマーは分別をなくし、ヴィシュヌは意識を失う。人間どもにどうしようがあろうか。狭い水路がまず作られて、そこに罠が仕掛けられる。しかし、通路は開け放たれているのに、ひとたび無事に門を入った魚は再びそこを出ようとはしない。海溝は根気よく精密な繭を紡ぐ。それでも一筋の道は開いているのに、自分の繭の中に閉じこもり、主はそのままそこで死ぬ。
Now, in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, this question is again and again asked to Sri Ramakrishna. If this family life, if this world is full of illusion, then should we give it up? Should we renounce the family? And if we renounce the family, what will happen to our children, our wife? So this question has been, that means, does it need for everyone to become a monk by giving up family life, by giving up work, by renouncing children and wife, parents? Because if it is illusion, should we not do that? Then, what Sri Ramakrishna answers to this? Because this is most important for our householder devotees. They want to know. If everything is false like that, illusion like that, then why should we drag like that? Why should we cling to our family, our relatives, to our works? Should we not give it up and go to a forest or to a cave and do spiritual practice? Then what will happen to our family? Because we are supposed to look after our family. This is a very common question. So this was asked Sri Ramakrishna.
このような話聞いた在家者は、ではすべては幻のようなものであれば、私たちもすべてを放棄して、森や洞穴、山の中に入って、修行した方がいいのではないか。が、この私たちの息子娘や両親など親類縁者が私たちの、サポートが必要です。で、どうすればいいですかってスリラマクリさんに尋ねました。
Then Sri Ramakrishna's answer is very significant, because many of his monastery disciples were 16, but many were householder devotees. So his reply was, no, you have not to renounce your family. But one thing you should do, you should discriminate and you should have a spiritual knowledge. So gain the spiritual knowledge, gain the spiritual insight, know what is real and what is unreal. After gaining this knowledge, if you continue your family life, then there will be no harm to you. So here point is this. That is, you must have gained, you should acquire the spiritual knowledge. He gave this example of breaking the jackfruit after besmearing your hand with oil. So I do not know how many of you have the experience of eating jackfruit. I believe you know. So it's very sticky, isn't it? So I saw our mother, you see, before breaking the jackfruit, they would besmear their palms with oil. Then I wonder why. Because of that, because jackfruit is very sticky, so if you besmear your hand with oil, then even if the sticky things are there, so it will not affect your skin. So it's like that. Gaining the knowledge, first you gain the spiritual knowledge, and then you continue your family life. So that was Sri Ramakrishna's advice.
I could not understand properly. You said 16 monastic disciples?
Yes,
1-6.
but mostly they are household
そうですね。
devotees.
はい。
Most are
スリラマクリスナの直弟子の中にたった16人が、お坊さんになりましたが、この他の方々はほとんど在家者でしたので、このような質問がとても重要でした。でスリラマクリスナの答えは、在家者の場合はあなたたちがこの世を放棄する必要がないですが、一つだけ獲得しなければなりません。それは霊的な知識、霊的な目覚めです。そういう洞察が得た上で、在家者の生活を送ってもいいです。で具体例としては、インドではよく食べられているのはジャックフルーツの種とかを食べるときに、結構、ネバネバするので、そのまま素手で食べるとネバネバするので、手に、オイルを塗ると、ネバネバしないです。
one thing, not eating. When you break the jackfruit, for taking those small, I should say,
Seeds.
piece of fruits,
Or is piece of fruits.
piece of many piece of separate fruits are there inside. So when you break it, then this sticky things will come.
Is it like zakuro, Maharaj?
Not jakuro.
No, I know, but zakuro, you get small
Yes,
seeds.
but
with- with
that's a
some-
very big seed.
Oh.
Jackfruit seeds are very big.
Oh.
Not so. Once you break it, break it open, that time the sticky things will come. But after you to break it open, then you take one by one that the fruits, separate fruits. But then it is not sticky. You just take it. While you break open, then the sticky juice will come.
そうですね。じゃあジャックフルーツの中に、小さい果物もたくさんがあるんですけれども、それを割るときにネバネバする
So
液体が出てしまいます。でもオイルを塗るとネバネバしない。
but once it is open,
楽に食べ
then
る
you
こと
can
がで
take
きま
one
す。
by one. So no problem. So, so this is most important to know what is spiritual knowledge and what is spiritual ignorance. What is jnana, what is ajnana. This is the most important thing that we should really know and ponder.
で私たちが一番知るべきことと深く考えなければならないことは、本当の霊的な知識と霊的な無知とは何か、ギャーナとはギャーナとは何かということです。
The Sri Ramakrishna's shortest answer, 一番短い答えは何が knowledge, 何が ignorance? What is spiritual knowledge and what is spiritual ignorance? What is the shortest answer I ever heard? There are so many explanations are there by philosophers and incarnations, prophets, but I believe Sri Ramakrishna's answer is the shortest one. 何でしょうか？
スリラマクリスそうこの答えはスリラマクリスナは歴史の中に一番短い答えを出しました。
私の考えで I don't know, I haven't read all scriptures, but so far what I have read, I feel that Sri Ramakrishna's answer is the shortest and most deep also.
さまざまな聖者アバタラが前も答えたんですけれども、スリラマクリスナの答えは一番短いし一番深い答えだと考えています。それは何でしょうか？
シャンティ起きました。どうぞ。わからない？長年のベダント勉強してます。知ってます。もし私いますとすぐわかります。
Only God is real and the world is unreal? No?
More.
Even less than, shorter than that one.
That's just a long sentence. but I'll more short.
I thought of
Shorter.
I thought of another one, Maharaj.
Which one?
Do I have a second chance?
Okay. Okay, now but let me others try. Okasan, obeteru. Have you any answer? You have read Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna? Yes.
Only God exists.
That was is not very clear.
3 words.
Yeah, of course, it's true. Huh? Totemo wakari yasui. Desu kedo totemo mijikai. Okay, second chance.
Tagi. You repeat Gita 10 times, it becomes Tagi. One word, Maharaj.
But
That's
yeah,
the
but you have to read. You have to read.
No, you just say Gita, 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 Tagi.
So 10 times. Gita, 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 Gita. So how many times that will be? Okay, shortest answer is Ami o Amar Gyan. Tumi o Tomar. Ami o Amar Ogyan. Tumi o Tomar Gyan. Watashi to watashi no wa koto wa, sono iu koto wa mochi teki. Anata to anata no mono. それが知識です。私と私のものは無知的。あなたとあなたのものは霊的。See? And it is so beautifully put. とっても素晴らしいですね。
What is it again?
Very key point.
Amar?
アミ。
Ami.
アミをアマル。アミ means 私。アマルが私の。私と私の。You understand it? I and my is ignorance. And あなたとあなたの。You and your. That means what is you and your? God. So once you know this, you and your everything belongs to God, that is knowledge. And whenever you think this is, I am this and this is mine, then you get attached. So is it not very beautifully put, this expression? So Fukui no naka ni, this in Bengali says like that. Ami o amar ogyan, tumi o tomar gyan. Just ponder over it. Flood of light will come from you, from this statement. Lots of light you will find from this. And if you remember always this, itsumo sore o kangaemasu. So then, and after that if you continue your family life, no problem. This is rubbing your hand with oil, with this knowledge. So, generally our thing is just the opposite. I am this is mine, my family is mine, my work is mine, my son, my daughter, my duty, my work, my talent, isn't it? My house. So, I and my, and you and yours. So this is the shortest definition of what is knowledge and what is ignorance.
Well, how about you said it in Japanese?
So you need not translate?
I'll try.
So, wakarimashita?
I'll try.
Okay, here we stop. So this is the most important thing that you should always remember. Just this mantra, this formula. Ami o amar, あなたいつも言ってます。なあほんなあほんとほと。これですね。なあほんなあほんとほと。Maybe he said this also expressed this word. なあほんな。But 口でない。口で言うとき、なあほんなあほんとほと。But 心で考えが違う。私。私の。口であなた。それでいけないです。You have to really think. It doesn't matter if you speak out or not. 口で言ってもいなくて考え。 構いません。But whether you really think it or not, that's the problem. That's the most important thing. So if you really think that you have no problem, it is as if you are wearing a shoe and the street is full of thorns, but it will not hurt you. 道が何か full of thorns?
まあ、トゲとかがいっぱいあっても
いっぱいあります。or in a forest、トゲがいっぱいあります。もし靴がありますから心配はないですよ。So this is the 靴。This is the oil. Lord, nothing is mine. Everything is yours. Everything belongs to you. So I'll explain in next discourse. I'll explain this point more particular, more actually elaborately. What is Ajnana and what is Jnana? 何が無知、何が知識、もっと詳しいことは次の maybe afternoon class also if I can continue.
このようにスリラマ・クリスナが何か知識、何か無知を一番簡潔そして美しくまとめた、ですね。例えば私たちがいつも私の家族、私の、タレント、私の能力、私の仕事、私の修正とかそれを考えて執着してしまうんですが、本当に私たちが、この世は自分たちのものではない、すべて神様のものです。すべて神様のことを考えれば、財形の生活を送っても執着しないで苦しまない。で、先ほどの靴の例とかオイルの例になります。
OK ありがとうございました。オーシャンティシャンティシャンティハリオームタツサトスリーラムクリシナラパナマスト OK リオ Thank you。どうぞ皆さんお下がり行きましょう。